Hi everyone, Keith here. Hey, I wanted to go over some important words with everybody today. See if we can't help people get some things sorted out and start taking care of their business here. First, I want to go over the word dictionary. Yes, I said the word dictionary. And as you can see, they get used. And yes, I said dictionary, encyclopedia of dictionaries. The thing I want everybody to understand about the word dictionary is everybody thinks it defines words. Like when people define each other by their characters and attributes and uh, faults and stuff. A dictionary is just another man's opinion. And you'll notice in a lot of dictionaries, in almost every dictionary, they use what's called synonyms, other words that mean the same thing. In other words, we have a lot of the same opinions using different words, and a lot of the same words using different opinions. So we're going to start out. We got Oxford American Dictionary here. I believe it's 1982. Yeah, 1982. We're going to look up the word dictionary. And right here on page, what is it, 238, it says dictionary. A book that lists and explains the words of a language or the words and topics of a particular subject, usually in alphabetical order. That's Oxford American Dictionary. And then we got New Webster's Expanded Dictionary. And it says on page 89, dictionary, a book containing the words of a language arranged alphabetically with their meanings, etc. A work explaining the terms, etc. of any subject under heads alphabetically arranged. Then we're going to go to this Webster's New Encyclopedia of Dictionaries. This one's got 30 different reference sections. And it says, and this is 1993, that last one was 1991. And under dictionary, on page 106, it says, a book containing, alphabetically arranged, the words of a language, their meanings and etymology, a lexicon. Lexicon is another term for dictionary, used generally in reference to Latin, Greek, Hebrew, um, things like that. Okay, now we're going to go to the word, now that we've got dictionary done, it's just an opinion of words. We're going to go to authority. Everybody wants to talk about authority. Who has the authority over me? My mom told me once, Keith, the police are your authority. No, they're not. So in Oxford American, 1982, page 53, it says authority, the power or right to give orders and make others obey or to take specific actions. In New Webster's 1991, page 224, it says authority, legal power or right, influence conferred by character or station, person in power, testimony, credibility, precedent. Then in the Webster's New Encyclopedia of Dictionaries, 1993, page 31, says authority, legal power or right, accepted source of information, justification, influence, permission. When we look up authority in Black's Law Dictionary, it doesn't show up, but it does show authorize. Under Black's Fourth, page 169, says to empower, to give a right or authority to act. To clothe with authority, warrant, or legal power. To permit a thing to be done in the future. It has a mandatory effect or meaning, implying a direction to act. Authorized is sometimes construed as equivalent to permitted, and sometimes as equivalent to directed, or to similar mandatory language. The word indicates merely possessed of authority, that is, possessed of legal or rightful power. The synonym of which is competency. Now think about that. If a cop doesn't have authority to bring a complaint because you're not part of their federal system, their federal corporation, you're not part of their Walmart crew, then he's not even competent to get on the stand. Understand that. It's right there in their own words. Now we're going to get to jurisdiction, but before we get there, we're going to break it down into the two words, juris and diction. And here in Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 990, it says juris, and it's a very simple definition. There's no other thing on it. It's simple. Juris is Latin of right, of law. That's it. Nothing else on it. Period. And that's in Black's Law Dictionary. You can't break it down any simpler than that. Of right, of law. It's not of privilege or of legalities. It's of right, of law. And then before we get to diction, and skip out of Black's Law Dictionary here again, it doesn't have diction in Black's Law Dictionary. But it does have a few others. Dicta, which is, again, this is what I spoke of earlier. Dictionary is just an opinion put forth by other people. Opinions in Black's Law Dictionary here, page 540, 4th edition, dicta, opinions of a judge who do not embody the resolution or determination of the court. And then we go to same page, page 540, it says dictate, to order or instruct what is to be said or written, to pronounce word by word what is meant to be written by another. And then it says dictation. Dictation. In Louisiana, this term is used in a technical sense and means to pronounce orally what is destined to be written at the same time by another. It is used in reference to non-cupative wills. The dictation of a will refers to the substance and not the style, and it is sufficient if the will, as written, conveys the identity of the thought expressed by the testator, though not the identity of words used by him. So when we get to diction, in the Oxford American Dictionary, 1982, page 238, it says diction, a person's manner of uttering or pronouncing words. And if we listen to dictation in regards to this will, it refers to the substance and not the style. And then it goes on to say that as long as it conveys the identity of thought expressed by the testator. The diction, a person's manner of uttering or pronouncing words. Jurisdiction. Of law, a person's manner of uttering or pronouncing words. Of right, a person's manner of uttering or pronouncing words. It's a matter of how you define the words that they're using against you. That's all it is. You have to redefine the words to the way you know the word. The definition of a word shows an implication. And if you don't define what that word means to you and simply accept the way they're defining it against you, then you have to accept the implications of that word that they're using. When you define it yourself, you change the implication. Understand these words. Diction in New Webster's Dictionary, 1991, page 89, says diction, choice of words, mode of expression, style. Webster's New Encyclopedia of Dictionaries, 1993, page 106, diction is a choice of words in speaking, verbal style, enunciation. So if you're going to have that personal jurisdiction, you have to have your own personal definition of the words. Now, if you don't know what juris secundum means, then you shouldn't use it. If you don't know what pro se means, you shouldn't use it. If it's a foreign language, you shouldn't use it. So when you see foreign languages on your documents, you should be asking questions. What does this mean? Can you put that in plain English so that I can use it in reference to my definition of the words being used? Okay, so now we've got that. Jurisdiction. On page 991 of Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, let me fix this here. They list jurisdiction, and it says, the word is a term of large and comprehensive import and embraces every kind of judicial action. It is the authority by which courts and judicial officers take cognizance of and decide cases. The legal right by which judges exercise their authority. It exists when court has cognizance of class of cases involved, proper parties are present, and point to be decided is within issues. And when we talk about the courts having jurisdiction, we're talking about subject matter jurisdiction and territorial jurisdiction. If they have personal jurisdiction, they have to have 3 kinds of jurisdiction. And if they have personal jurisdiction, then they can acquire the subject matter and territorial jurisdiction. But they can't possibly have subject matter and territorial jurisdiction if they do not have first personal jurisdiction. Can't do it. And when they do, it's because of our own ignorance. We're allowing them to do it. We're going into Walmart and doing the work for the Walmart store without getting paid, and we're not even employed by them. And then it goes on to say subject matter jurisdiction. Jurisdiction of subject matter means jurisdiction of class of cases to which particular case belongs. The nature of the cause of action and relief sought, or the amount for which a court of limited jurisdiction is authorized to enter judgment. Now notice it said the amount for which a court of limited jurisdiction. Your federal courts are limited jurisdiction. Your local district court, that's your court. That's where you go to court. You don't go to court in the United States. Go to court to your local court. That's your court. Your community court. That's where you have power. That's where you have jurisdiction. Unlimited. Their courts are limited. Even if it's the local court, their court is limited. Your court is not. It is power to a judge concerning general question involved. A judge whether facts make proper case for jurisdictional consideration by judge. and deal with general abstract questions, to hear particular facts in any case relating to such question, and to determine whether they are sufficient to invoke exercise of power. So until they can gather the jurisdiction, they don't have authority, period. They don't have power until they can hear particular facts in any case relating to such question, and to determine whether they are sufficient to invoke exercise of power. Let's see here. And then it goes on to say, determine every justiciable issue involved. Hear and determine cases of general class to which proceeding belongs. And jurisdiction of the person, here we go, here it is. Jurisdiction of the person is power to subject parties in a particular case to decisions and rulings made in such case. A man is only justiciable over crimes. There has to be a crime. You have to have caused harm or injury to another person, or caused them to suffer loss or damage to their property. If you haven't done that, you've committed no crime, and nobody has any personal jurisdiction over you. If you committed a traffic violation while you're on the clock, working for the local police department, you are justiciable for speeding, failure to maintain your proper lane, failure to use proper turn signal. And these are tickets that the people can issue you if you're a police officer working for a corporation that these rules, regulations, codes, statutes, ordinances, acts apply to. We are then your authority, as we the people are the main part of the government that issues the authority. Without us, there is no authority. Period. All you have is paperwork. Again, jurisdiction of the person is power to subject, make you a subject. If you're not a subject to somebody, then they have no authority. Jurisdiction of the person is power to subject parties in a particular case to decisions and rulings made in such case. So if you're subject to a crime, which is every man and woman, if you've committed a crime, somebody else can gain that personal jurisdiction over you. If you haven't, then you have to be a part of that corporation that's giving you this jurisdictional direction. If you're not part of that corporation, then why would you follow their direction? Jurisdiction clause, it says on page 992 in Black's Law, 4th edition again, in equity practice. That part of a bill which is intended to give jurisdiction of the suit to the court by a general averment that the acts complained of are contrary to equity and tend to the injury of the complainant, and that he has no remedy, or to a complete remedy, or not a complete remedy, without the assistance of a court of equity. It is called the jurisdiction clause. This is what they are using against you in equity practice. They're saying that they are not going to be able to make a paycheck if they don't bring this claim to the court, to have the court decide whether you are justiciable for breaking their code, for violating their statute, for bending their rule, for not acting the way they said you should act, for not ordaining what they ordinanced to be ordained. They're not your king. You're not their subject. You don't have to listen to them. They're just that the acts complained of are contrary to equity. So I didn't use a fucking turn signal when I changed lanes. Fuck you. Jurisdictional facts. Again on page 992, Black's Law, 4th edition. Jurisdictional facts. Those matters of fact which must exist before the court can properly take jurisdiction of the particular case, as that the defendant has been properly served with process, that the amount in controversy exceeds a certain sum, that the parties are citizens of different states, etc. All these facts have to line up in order to give them jurisdiction. Jurisdictional facts, those matters of fact which must exist before the court can properly take jurisdiction of that particular case, that the parties are citizens of different states. If you're not a citizen, that's a big word there. Again, jurisdiction is personal jurisdiction first. Then you have your territorial jurisdiction and your subject matter jurisdiction. Then we got same page again, Black's fourth law edition, or Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Jurisdictional statement. A statement in appellant's brief that concisely and clearly informs the Supreme Court of the exact ground on which the Supreme Court's jurisdiction is claimed to rest, and refers briefly to the constitutional provisions and decide cases sustaining such claim of jurisdiction. So when you make a jurisdictional statement to a Supreme Court about your appeal, what you're doing is you're telling them that they have jurisdiction. That's how appeals work. You're appealing through their courts. You're giving them jurisdiction. If you're not if you're not guilty of a crime, don't give them jurisdiction at any time. Period. They have to have personal jurisdiction. Easiest way not to give it to them is ask them, where is your personal jurisdiction? Period. That's it. If they don't have that, don't give it to them. Well, that's all for today. Sorry it grew so long, but I thought it was important information. Hope you all enjoy it. Hope you getting on YouTube with this stuff one of these days. So in the meantime, I'll stick to the Facebook stuff here and hope you enjoy it. God bless y'all. I love you. That's all I got.